Hi, I'm Jill Ogle, and welcome to the first episode of the Spiritual Revolution podcast. The reason this came about is that for the first 15 years of my spiritual journey, I tried all of the things. I tried to be positive. I tried to be good vibes only. I tried to remove negative people from my life. I tried to stay in the vortex. I tried to let go. I tried to love myself. I tried so many different things. I read so many books. I tried so many different modalities. And while some of them helped to a certain degree in terms of that thing led me to the next thing, led me to the next thing, led me to the next thing, which landed me where I was 5 years ago, which was when my journey completely changed. And so I want to help you break through the fluff of spirituality because there's so much BS out there. And, I used to work for a famous meditation teacher, and, you know, seeing him tell people that you don't need anything outside of your body, the diet doesn't matter, supplements don't matter, none of it matters. All you need is your mind. And then he's popping zinc backstage and starting a supplement company. There was a real lack of congruence for me witnessing that. And I'm aware of my part in this, right? No one's perfect. We're all human. And I think there has to be a certain level of responsibility for your message when you have very, very ill people showing up expecting to heal. And so I'll get into that a little bit later, but I tried to stay in the vortex. I tried to be positive and stay in the vortex and to surrender and do all of these things. And it's just impossible. It's just impossible to stay positive all the time. It's impossible. And I know people that will literally cut you out of their life for saying something negative when everyone is negative, right? Everyone is positive. We all have both sides. I know people that cannot deal with any negativity in their life. And that to me screams, I am in pain, I am in trouble, and this isn't working for me. But if I admit that, then what else have I got? And so they hold on to this idea, and I'm sure this happens in the meditation community as well, is that they hold on so tightly to the hope that this is the thing that helps them, that they don't even realize that none of it's working. And so I really want to help to break that spell. And my brother gave me, my dad and my brother are the two people that are so responsible for me being on mission today. My dad, when he died in 2007, that was when I sort of started to wake up to this idea. I watched The Secret a million times. I wanted him to think positive, to heal, and it didn't work, and he died. But I now know that it didn't work in saving him, but it did work in the fact of like it started me on this path. And I had to go through all of that nonsense of the positive thinking and The Secret and all of that to end up where I am. And so I know that my dad gave me that gift. And then 5 years ago, my brother he killed his girlfriend and then he suicided. And when I found this out, there were so many things that went through my mind. Obviously, how could this happen? And feeling for my nephews and things like this. But the thing that really kind of threw me off balance and woke me up was the overwhelming love that I felt for him in that moment. And in that moment, I realized that it's not through removing people from our lives. It's not through blaming others or shaming others or blocking people or, any of these things. It's actually through loving the unlovable that we change and the world changes. But that's not common practice, right? That's not common practice to say, this person hurt me and I'm going to love them. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot more to it, right? And I teach this in the programs that I teach, that it's not just about saying that I'm going to love them. We actually do go in and do the work to find how this has helped you, how this has been divinely orchestrated on your path. And through going through the process that I take people through, you naturally come out the other side grateful and loving. And so to me, this is how we change the world. It's not through, what I see a lot of in the spiritual community, which is spiritual bypassing, fake it till you make it. You can't fake it till you make it. You have a vibrational frequency. That's not just the conscious thoughts that you're thinking. It's actually your subconscious. It's everything within you is causing you to vibrate at a certain frequency. So you can say affirmations, you can meditate, you can, do the plant medicine. But if you don't love that stuff that you don't want anyone to see, if you don't love that darkness, if you don't stop repressing and suppressing your emotions, then you're actually not changing anything. It's when we have the courage to go into that space and to love ourselves there that we become whole. And the transformation is permanent, because all that our parts that we've disowned want is to come back home. And so doing this work is so vital, right? Because, everything that's going on in the world at the moment, we don't change the world by fighting certain people, powers that be. I mean, I'm not saying don't take a stand against, the Microsoft creators or people like this. And you've got to do the work to understand why that pisses you off to begin with. What is that person reflecting to you? Because when you can do that work, when you can really, truly heal your darkness, that feeds the collective consciousness. And it's the collective shadow that's coming out to play right now, right? And so, any of these teachers that are teaching spiritual bypassing, Abraham Hicks, Joe Dispenza, to name two, that's just those two in particular, I believe, are going to be quite irrelevant in the coming years, because there is a spiritual revolution that is happening. I'm witnessing it. I'm speaking up about my experiences. Excuse me. And people are joining me on this, in this, because they've finally broken out of the spell and the hopeism and understand that it's not been working, that there must be something else. There must be an answer. And there is. You don't love yourself by getting rid of the parts of you that you don't like. That doesn't work. You don't love yourself by only loving the parts of you that are, brilliant and magnificent and intelligent and witty and charming and beautiful. You love yourself, truly love yourself, when you love your dim wit, when you love your stupidity, when you love your ugly, you're mean, you're abrasive, you're blunt, you're bitchy, you're ferocious, you're tenacious. When you can love the parts of you that you'd rather not be, they transform. They come home. They no longer need to come out in unusual ways at unusual times. And, there's just so much need for this work. And it really is going to be the spiritual revolution. And I'm here for it. So I just want to say one more thing about the healing thing before I go, because if you are listening to this and you're thinking, well, okay, well, what do I do? Firstly, you asked to join my Facebook group. Find me on Facebook, add me as a friend if you can. Send me a message. Tell me you've heard this. Tell me you want to connect. My Facebook group currently is Awakened Conscious Creators. That name may change at some point, but you'll always find me. And the way that disease occurs and therefore healing occurs is food does matter. So it all starts at an emotional level, yes. And you have the power to heal your body with the power of your mind, yes. The quickest way to do that and the most powerful way to do that is to love the parts of you that you don't currently love, to look at the emotional content behind your dis-ease and work out what it's trying to tell you. Our bodies, our universe, our reality, whether you have illness or not, is all a feedback mechanism. The emotions that we feel is the most intelligent feedback that we have. And so these teachers telling you to dismiss it is just, it's just wrong. We want to learn from this. We want to learn from this feedback so that we can understand and make different choices, so we can go and heal these parts of ourselves. So it all happens at an emotional level, and then you become susceptible to environmental factors. So, mold, vaccines, food. It's really funny, right? Like, so dairy intolerance is your mum, and gluten intolerance is your dad. And so what I'm saying here is these two intolerances stem from something going on in that arena. Now, it could be infatuations with either parent. It could also be a dislike for each parent. We'd have to go in and ask some questions to uncover that. But that's the basic gist, right? And so if you have a dairy intolerance and you're meditating and you keep eating dairy, you are going to get sick. You are going to be unwell. I know, I've been there. Right? And so understanding, how to best serve your physical body while doing the work. And if that includes adding supplements, if that includes different food diets, then by all means, do that. Absolutely. You don't want to be putting things into your body that are going to further antagonize it. And some of these teachers that are telling you that you don't need anything outside of your body are popping zinc backstage. So, everything that I speak of, I'm speaking of from experience, from, I'm not just talking out my ass, right? I've healed more things in the past 4 to 5 years doing what I do now, doing what I teach, doing what I love, doing what this spiritual revolution and this mission is all about than I have in the previous 15. And, I was sick from 12. I had health challenges from when I was 12 and went through the medical system and the natural system, and no one could help me. And then in 2020, I was in a really, really bad way. I had massive cognitive issues. I had a swollen hippocampus in my brain. I couldn't remember what I was doing half the time. Even to do this, I would have to have a series of notes to keep track of where I was at. And, I'd pick up my phone to write a note so that I remembered what I had to do. And I didn't know why I had my phone. Couldn't remember friends' names. Like it was just horrific at one point. At one point, I thought I am going to end up in a nursing home, and I'm barely 40 years old, kind of thing, and so the change from sitting on my couch at one point thinking, oh my God, I'm heading into a catatonic state here. And I don't know how to come back from this, because if I don't have my brain, I don't have anything. I don't have the ability to create something else. And so I just want you to know that it's absolutely possible to heal when you have the correct information. It's just that a lot of these teachers aren't teaching the full spectrum. And you might say, well, how come, people experience healings doing this work? Well, it's, when you get to the emotional content of what's causing your dis-ease, if you stop doing that thing, then your body will heal. So what I find a lot of people do is when they're confronted with disease, they start becoming a different version of themselves. Right? Their priorities change. And so is it the dis-ease? Is it the meditation that's causing the healing? Or is it the fact that they're no longer doing that thing? They've woken up to something, even if they're not conscious of it. So I've got to leave it there. I have a phone call. Thank you for listening. the way this is going to work is, I'm going to come on and do shares like this. I'm going to bring different guests on to talk about their theories. I'm going to challenge them sometimes, and I'm sure they'll challenge me, because I really want this to be an open discussion so that, we can sort of see and learn the truth and really help people to get the right information and the right answers. And having said that, right, there are no wrong answers. So everything that you're doing or have done till now has been perfect because it's led you to this very moment. And it's time for a change. So thanks for listening, watching. If you'd like to join my Facebook group, please look it up. If you'd like to connect with me, please connect with me. And I'll talk to you again soon.